Good morning. Well, it's colder today than yesterday. I judge it by just how much of my breath I can see in front of me on the way up to Upper Swainswick. And this morning it was like being the driver of a steam locomotive, so that shows how cold. And I think it's a northerly, and I don't know, it looks snowy. I can feel snow in my bones before the end of the week. Could be wrong, but there we go. Anyway, we're into lockdown. Parliament's voting on it today, and I was looking at the papers on the BBC. You can just go through the front pages, and they're all saying that currently 1 in 50 of us in this country is infected with COVID-19. And there's our inept Prime Minister promising 13 million people vaccinated by mid-February. Well, it's going to be a hell of an effort. It's the cold. The leader of the opposition, Sir Keir Starmer, saying, it should be the main priority now, 24 hours a day. We should mobilise every resource we've got to be the first country in the world to be totally vaccinated. Well, I wonder. Locally, a lot of people are making contact with me saying, what's happening? When will we be notified of, our turn in the vaccination program? One person saying to me, my husband's 88 and we've heard nothing. Well, I made a few inquiries through Baines with various councillors who are aware of the situation, or maybe I should say are aware of how difficult the situation is. And basically the best advice is you've just got to wait. You've got to wait to be notified that it's your turn. We're being told, the front page of the Eye this morning saying mass vaccination centres will open across the country as the NHS aims to deliver more than 2 million injections every week. That's by the end of the month. Well, so many rumours floating around about Bath Racecourse being our major vaccination centre. But things change, and I know there's a lot of talk going on. There's a lot of discussion about what role hospitals like the RUH and GP surgeries will play in all of this. But I suppose my observation is it would be great if the regional NHS and Baines could come together and issue some sort of statement just to show people that things are happening, that things are being worked out, and even at the end of the day they repeat that message. You have to wait to be called. I think it would be more reassuring for local people because the front pages of all our national press is full of what's happening nationally, but it would be good to know what's happening in our area. So that's what I have to say on that subject. The other thing I was talking about yesterday was the rolling out of 5G, and for some people the fear that there is a risk to health from radiation. Now, the government has said 5G is safe and it wants it rolled out across the country. We have local opposition to a mast above Larkhall being upgraded to 5G. Another application for a brand new 5G mast coming in quite close to that pretty soon. And I made the point yesterday about church towers and spires, whether telecommunications masts, I always find that difficult to say, telecommunication masts could be installed inside, out of sight, and earning the church a bit of revenue. Well, Rolf Oswick, the former artistic director of Bath Natural Theatre Company and a Widcombe, I should say a Bath icon, a legend in his own lifetime, emailed me yesterday to say, hi, happy lockdown. On the subject of phone masts in areas of outstanding beauty, we were on holiday in Martinique last year, and it took us ages to notice that the tallest and most magnificent palm tree in a hilltop grove near our villa was in fact a phone mast, its plastic fronds swishing away most realistically. If these can be bought off the peg, may I suggest that this would be the answer to the aesthetic arguments in Larkhall. It would bring a welcome touch of the exotic to the location, in my opinion. Palm trees over Larkhall sounds like the name of a film, doesn't it? Rolf says all Caribbean trips cancelled for yours truly this year, and has attached a cartoon which I'm currently showing you. Thank you for that, Rolf. Another follower of Bath Museum, who I will allow to remain anonymous, came through and said some years ago a Bath church negotiated with Vodafone to build a 4G mast disguised as a flagpole on top of the tall church tower. The fee from Vodafone would have made a material difference to the finances of the church. Neighbours who were not parishioners objected on the grounds that they would be radiated. The debate caused much distress to the vicar and the parishioners, and after a noisy meeting the project had to be abandoned. This follower said had the parish resolved to proceed, they would have experienced further hurdles such as the council, listed building and a faculty from the Diocese of Bath and Wells. Well, there you are, you see, so it's not that easy to hide them away, even though it could be a source of revenue for the church. And talking about 4G radiation, well, the mast above Larkhall is 4G now. It would just have been upgraded to 5G. The Abbey doesn't have a telecommunications mast in its tower, but I was told that St Michael's Without does. I don't know whether anybody can confirm that or wishes to comment on that. I still think it's a good idea. We should be looking for ways to improve things in the most careful, considerate way possible. And you know, I go back to what I was saying about buildings like St Mary's here, you know, a church dating from the 12th century, a centre for the community for all those years. And, you know, the building has to be maintained. Church congregations are falling, but the building's still there, and somebody has to pay to make sure the roof doesn't leak and that windows are repaired or you know, churchyards maintained. And there's nothing wrong with a church looking for extra means of revenue. I know some rent out church halls, but with COVID, with what happened last year and is likely to happen probably for most of this, people aren't exactly rushing to book church halls either. So it's an interesting, debatable point. Not meaning to end on a low, but those are the subjects. The Bath magazine, some of you who follow the Bath magazine will know I write a monthly column. They're not publishing this month. It would be unfair to send people out to distribute the magazine during a lockdown when it can't be done. So I think there is talk of a sort of spring edition coming maybe next month. But they are going to do a weekly online bit, which I think is going to be published on a Thursday. And I'm charged for going home now and trying to write a piece because the deadline for me would be midday. So you'll have to excuse me if I toddle off now and get down to doing that. I'm going to be mentioning Bridgerton. If you have Netflix, you probably know what I'm talking about. We watched the last 2 episodes last night. Interesting. Features Bath, but more about that in the piece. Hopefully, I'll write and hopefully will be accepted for publication tomorrow. Whatever you're doing today, stay safe, be good, or as my grandmother used to say, if you can't be good, be careful. Speak to you soon.